let's get started. So I'm recording, so let's get started. So first thing, we're gonna start off here on the monthly on the S&P 500 or ES. We see that last month we reacted off to that monthly fair value gap, came down, reacted off of it, and we see on this next month we came up and swept this buy side up here, which was this all-time highs. Let's come down into the weekly. So on the weekly on ES, I wanted to start on ES because we're seeing two entirely different things on ES and NQ. But on ES, we failed to displace above the this high right here, which most likely means that we are looking for a liquidity sweep. However, we have made a weekly fair value gap here, as well as another weekly fair value gap right here. So we have a lot of support coming down on the way here, and as well as this order block creation. So let's come down into the daily to kind of see what more we're working with here. Okay, so here in the daily, we swept this minor buy side, and we basically just swept these highs right here, these relative equal highs that we made, and we just swept them with this candle right here, coming down into this fair value gap, filled it fully, finding a little bit of support before coming back up and retesting this breaker, which we'll go over in just a second. But coming from here, we're not seeing too much, but it does look like we are sweeping these all-time highs right here, and looks like we do have potential to come down a little bit lower.
Okay.
So let's head down into the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, we have our 4-hour bearish breaker block right here. So we have our breaker block and our fair value gap right here, which kind of gives us our little unicorn right here. And we see right off this breaker, we're already starting to reject this breaker. So we'll see what we want to do come Monday. But my guess is we are going to probably come on down a little bit further for these higher resistance liquidity runs down here, in terms of this low and this low, as also because we have shifted structure, right? We have shifted structure now bearish on the 4-hour and on the daily as well. Okay, so before I get ahead of myself, I am gonna go move over to NQ, which we did see. We came into this, we ended up coming into this monthly fair value gap, having a much better reaction off of it, and then taking these highs while displacing above these all-time highs right here. As you can see, we did take it on ES, but we're not seeing it be taken as much as what we're seeing right here on NQ. So on NQ, as we can tell, we are continuing to displace above this high, and we finally failed to displace above this high right here, which is why we are now seeing some bearish action right here. But we do have this order block right here and this fair value gap, which we are finding support off right here for this Friday as an inside day. And we do not have a 4-hour breaker block creation here, but we do have a 1-hour breaker block creation right here, which NQ has yet to tap into, as well as no daily shift in structure and no 4-hour shift in structure, right? This would be your swing low, and looks like we just decided to sweep this liquidity right here, so it's not looking quite like a shift in structure right here. So we are still bullish on NQ, and we are bearish on ES, so let's remember that right now. Now, what does this bring me for what we could potentially see during the next week or so? Let me pull up the seasonal tendency chart real quick. So we see that we did kind of follow the 26-year pattern in terms of making a low in April before coming up to sweep it in May. And that's kind of what we see in this 15-year pattern as well as this kind of 5-year pattern, just not as drastically. So right now, looks like we are following the 5-year pattern as of right now. And looks like most likely, since we are still in bullish structure, at least on NQ, we are going to continue higher. However, if we are using our next day model, as you guys can see, or the open high close low theory, we failed to displace here. So our next target should technically be this high right here.
Okay.
So let's keep that in mind. Once again, we are finding support off this order block and this this daily fair value gap. Now I'm going to quickly transition over here to the dollar. So the dollar has kind of found a little bit of support off this order block, or if you want to put it up to here, we have found support off of this order block right here, and we are kind of seeing bullish structure up to this fair value gap, which we have fully filled right here, as well as this mitigation block right here. So now we are kind of seeing bearish action off of this mitigation block as well, which kind of hints for us that saying that we might come down lower, especially since we did come up into a premium before starting to sell off. Now our next draw would not be too crazy if we were to come down to these relative equal lows right here. As you can see, these lows are relatively equal, and since the dollar and the indexes move inversely, right, this coming down will lead the indexes to go up. So let's just keep that in mind. However, we could end up finding that we will continue higher and take out this liquidity, this liquidity, this liquidity, and this liquidity right here, but we have no daily fair value gaps or anything to support us going up higher on the dollar. Coming into this 4 hour, we have a lot of low resistance liquidity in terms of equal lows and relative equal lows right here. We're relative equal lows right here, relative equal lows right here, equal lows right here, right? Equal lows right here, and more relative equal lows right here. So this tells us, look at all this. This is low resistance liquidity right here. Very easy for us to want to grab, especially with this 4 hour fair value gap right here. Okay. Came up, mitigation block, 4 hour fair value gap, came down. Would not be surprised if we decided to take out all of these equal lows and potentially come down even to here, to these relative equal lows right here and right here. So do we have any questions about this so far?
No, bro, it's amazing the way you just explained it,
Any
actually.
questions?
Okay, so we're gonna go over to look at just the economic calendar really quick. So Monday is a bank holiday, okay, which made Friday a low probability day, as well as Tuesday is going to be a lower probability day, okay? So definitely be careful when you're looking at those, especially when you're taking trades on these right here. A lot of the setups won't work as well as they would on higher probability days, so let's just take this in mind. And if you do want to trade on Monday, let's also keep in mind that it is a much lower probability day. But coming into Tuesday, we have consumer confidence, which is very good news. So this is going to bring some volatility into the market. Although since it is the day after the bank holiday, it is going to be a little bit more lower probability, which brings us to Wednesday, which we do have FOMC members speaking, but not too high of a folder news. So that's not going to be too much of an issue. This should be a pretty good day, especially since we're most likely not going to have a super high probability day on Tuesday. I think we could have a very nice day on Wednesday potentially. Thursday comes, we have prelim unemployment claims and pending home sales. This will be a super good AM session trade. PM session could look a little iffy after this FOMC member, but it's not too high folder news, so we could see some good PM session trades here. But I am looking to mostly trade these AM sessions, especially in the silver bullet time frame after this pending home sales comes out. And Friday we have core PCE price once coming out again too, bringing a lot of volatility during the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday days. So it looks like we might have a good day on Friday as well in the AM session as well. PM session may consolidate due to this FOMC member speaking, but I'm not 100% sure, and we'll see kind of what the market brings. But definitely when it comes to trading, Thursday AM session will definitely be awesome. Friday AM session will definitely be awesome. Wednesday, most likely going to have a good AM and PM session. Any questions here?
No questions.
Okay, awesome. Then I think I was really quick, but I think that is pretty much everything I wanted to get through. If Franco wants to add anything.
No, bro, thank you. No.
Okay, cool. I'll get this uploaded to YouTube then, and